This is the threshold. This is where the Zamboni gets on and off of the ice, and a lot of ice builds up here because the Zamboni still has a lot of water when you get off, and you cannot shovel it off in time to get all of it away. Looking at it, I can tell that it is quite high, and I would like to try and get it down. Here I am going to be doing what's called a heavy edge on the threshold. Edging means that you are going to choose a place on the ice and use your edger to level the ice from that point to the boards, which tend to be higher. I am going to start pretty far out because I would like to remove a lot of ice. Next, I'm going to be doing this around the entire perimeter to a less extreme degree.
The threshold was bad. Now we look around. We want to see the tops of these bolts, but there's a lower set there. We want to see just the tops of those. So I go around here. I'm going to walk down this whole length and keep an eye out for it. And make note of any spots where the paint might look super bright because it would be low. Call this my ice audit. I don't see any spots yet, so I'm good to remove a whole bunch of ice here. However, that is harsh on the Zamboni. And if we're not careful, we could create a harsh angle into the boards that skaters can notice. So like, here you can kind of see one there. But in general, this is all pretty high, and I suppose that's to be expected. We've been training new drivers on this sheet. New drivers don't have great water control. They tend to flood the boards. This is an ongoing issue with many drivers because when you're driving along the boards, you don't want to hit them. It can hurt the Zamboni, so you drive slower. This means you deposit more water than you do everywhere else on the ice when you pull further away. Now this is a place where you'll get a lot of use. You can expect to see some ice buildup crawling up, kind of like there. This is also where you'd expect to have low ice, but I'm not seeing the tops of any bolts here. And if I do see them, I'll show you. There's one spot where I'm almost certain we'll be able to see them. And I believe that's because the bolts are, or the kick plate itself is actually set higher up than other ones are. Oh wow, it's getting pretty high. This is the board, it's just this one board. And you can see the tops of these bolts in a couple of spots, but not a lot. So that's ideally what we would see all the way around. That's not something we're going to be able to accomplish tonight. This would take a couple of days of doing this process over and over. You can't just edge a ton all at once. That's how you get your aggressive, dangerous edge or angle that goes into the boards. So that's what I'm seeing here. The last and most grueling thing we have to do before we can hop on the Zam and level the rest of the ice to the edges we've leveled here is all of this ice that's caked down here needs to be removed. So I've got an ice chipper here. And I just need to, I don't know if I can keep it steady while I hit this. No, I certainly can't. I'm just gonna hit it and then show you. So there you can see it was removed. We're gonna do that all the way around and it's gonna suck a lot. How do I feel about that?
Here's the perimeter pull. What we just did with the edger allowed for about 2 feet of ice to be leveled to the same spot. And now I take the Zamboni and I use its blade to level it much further out and ideally just create a much more flat surface where the boards are not exceptionally high. You'll notice the sound of clanking metal in some spots, especially where the threshold is. That is because I am removing a ton of ice. The angle was very sharp that I leveled out. So the blade is picking up a lot of ice. This is what's known as a figure 8, and it is essential for getting rid of a lot of ridges that form in the ice over time. When you only drive your one straight pattern over and over, you end up with actual lines going lengthwise across the ice, and over time they build up and they can be felt. So you want to drive perpendicular to your normal pattern and remove those. You want to do this about once a week.
GoPro battery at 12%, so here we go for the last make. Toot.